right, what is up, takers? Welcome back to Tice Take Today Live. You guys already know we do this every Thursday and Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Currently live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. For those of you that may not be following us, go ahead and throw us a like on Facebook, subscribe, hit that notification so you can get caught up on all previous episodes, as well as take a look and see who's on the calendar for future episodes. Also, we try to keep it all real simple. Instagram at It's Ties Take Today. If you're old school, you're looking for something to read, or you're just bored, TiesTakeToday.com is where you guys can find us as well. So coming up on tonight's episode, we are talking to two very creative individuals. We are going to be talking to music artist Rayvon Owen, as well as rapper, poet, filmmaker Sonnie about his upcoming EP. So super excited to talk to both of these guests. And if you guys are watching on Facebook or YouTube, you guys can go ahead and share. You guys can comment in the chat. We'll show your guys' comments. If you guys have any questions for me or our guests, we'll be sure to share those during tonight's conversation as well. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and add our first guest to the virtual platform. What's going on, Rayvon?
What's up, Tyler?
What is up? What is up? How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. I know we've been trying to make this happen for a minute, so I appreciate it.
Thank you for squeezing me in there.
Absolutely.
Let's go. I'm glad to be here.
So look, I already told you before we went live, we're gonna be taking it all the way back to the Idol days. We're gonna be talking about your journey, just overall as the creative individual that you are, and then we're gonna be talking about your current projects and what you got going on as well. So,
how much time you got?
Hey, all the time that's necessary. Okay. So I really want to know, like, and we don't even share your audition clip.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna give me PTSD, Ty.
Hey, don't put that on us, okay? So, first of all, Rayvon, I just want to know, like, what really first sparked your love and passion for music and performing? Like, take us back to like way back.
Okay, let me take you back to little baby Ray, who was singing in the Sunbeam Choir. It was called back at Antioch Baptist Church. That's in Verona, Virginia. That's where I got my start. Back when the microphone, they used to have the big foam things on top of the microphone. I think it was as big as my face, even though my head is bigger now, obviously. But I instantly fell in love with music. The mic became like a magic wand to me. Like I would sing, and then all of a sudden the church ladies will start hooping and hollering, getting up out of their seats. I'm like, "Oh, okay, they do something different when I sing." And so that was like my first instinct to kind of like getting the relationship between the audience and myself through music. My youth choir director, I don't know, to be honest, I don't know what she saw in me. Maybe she heard me in the back row, I guess. I used to do everything in church, by the way. So it wasn't just singing. I was the usher, I was the praise and worship leader, I was the like junior, Bible reader or whatever. I did too much, too much. I was running around all over church doing everything. Ran the audio, the sound upstairs. So yeah, I just fell in love with like the production elements of the service and kind of like, the not entertainment side because obviously it's in a spiritual setting, but it's a little bit of entertainment to it, It's like my first interaction with like music and art, basically creating an artistic space.
Absolutely. So would you say like starting off early on in your journey with, at church, there was that kind of like the moment when you realized like this isn't just a passion, like this is my purpose and this is what I want to do?
That actually came later where when I was in middle school, we did it was Christmas break. This was sixth grade. I just joined middle school. This was the first first half or whatever, first semester of middle school. And I joined the choir, and I was always, like I said, I was always kind of a church singer. And it never really dawned on me like, bro, you can sing outside the church too. There's a whole bunch of people out there who might want to listen to you. So I I sang on the karaoke machine, and like everybody in the choir room, and it was just our class. Everybody in the choir room like went crazy, like, oh, you gotta sing solos, you gotta do this, sing more. And so I was like, nobody else did karaoke. They just kept do this song, do that song, do this song. So it turned into my own little mini concert, and that was like my first time, like I said, associating, outside of church, where I realized like, okay, maybe I could do something with this. And then I went to high school for musical theater, so I went to like a magnet school, and that really even more so expanded my horizons with music. And I joined the Richmond Boys Choir. So I don't know if you ever heard of like the Harlem Boys Choir per se. So the Richmond Boys Choir is similar in Richmond, Virginia, where I'm from, and we got to sing for like the Queen of England. We got to sing at the White House, which ironically I got to sing again now as an adult. But yeah, it like slowly built, and I think I was like the last person to realize that everybody else was telling me like, "Go sing, sing." I'm like, really? Yeah.
Absolutely. And for those that may not be familiar, because years ago, when I don't even remember how long ago it was, but I remember taking my iPad to the Detroit auditions for American Idol, and my friend was auditioning, and I was like, look, I'm about to interview Ryan. Like, that was my one goal. I'm here to document your journey. And I just kept going up to everybody with a Fox Press badge. And I was like, look,
Yeah, I
I need
have
to,
to.
I need to meet my idol. Let me just shake his hands. And I ended up getting the opportunity to interview him, and that audition
Wow.
process was crazy. So
And,
like,
and the in Motown Week on my
uh,
season.
yeah, it was Motown Week.
Oh
Yep.
my God. Did I meet you there?
I don't think so, but
I don't think I met you there. Okay.
I got to interview Ryan, which was like one of the highlights of my journey thus.
So dope.
But for those that aren't familiar with the process, very exhausting, very draining.
Grind.
Um, what really inspired you to be like, look, I'm gonna audition?
Funny thing, I think I've said this before, but I don't think people really know this for real. I auditioned like 4 or 5 times before I actually made it through. Um, when I think when I was 16, again when I was like 18 or 19, a few times when I was in college. And so I was like, ah, dang, they just not feeling me. They not feeling me. They don't want me. They don't like me. I didn't take it too personal. I was like, okay, I know I can sing, so I don't think it's me. Then I started to realize, it's more than just a singing competition. It's actually, a television show. It's the whole, you got to have the whole package, the whole thing. So the time I actually made it, funny enough, was when I already moved to LA. And this was the era of like Idol and also shows like The Voice and stuff where they were going off on YouTube. I started putting myself out there on YouTube. I said, "Oh, okay, maybe TV or Idol is not the thing for me." Started putting myself out there as an artist, playing, college shows, for different universities and schools. I was kind of like, building a grassroots fan base. And it one I ended up meeting, to make a long story short, I ended up meeting Dr. Drew. I don't know if some of y'all out there might be familiar with, Loveline and Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew and his wife randomly through a mutual friend, their son went to Vanderbilt University, which is across the street from Belmont University where I went. So I was a special guest over there. Anyway, met them at the Emmy Awards. That friend came to LA and was like, "All right, I just moved to LA." He was like, let's go to the Beverly Hilton. I'm in town. I just came in town. I got a new job. They flew me out to LA. I just got invited to this event. Didn't tell me it was the Emmy Awards. He's like, get a suit, come down." Ended up sitting next to Dr. Drew and his wife. And the rest is history. They referred me actually to Idol, and I ended up doing an audition at the record label at 19 on Sunset Boulevard. And then boom, they were like basically casting me into the show. They were like, "You're gonna go straight to San Francisco, you're gonna audition for the judges." This was after one audition. And I was like, "So I made it?" They were like, "Yeah." They didn't even say yes. I'm expecting like the traditional kind of yes experience, but yeah, so that was within itself, outside of the other many lessons I've learned, that was a huge industry lesson for me to just see behind the scenes, see how things work, see the casting process, and also, you know, who is important too, right?
Absolutely, it's all about connections. So I told y'all we're gonna throw it back, and we're gonna actually share Rayvon's audition So give me a second just to pull
Oh
that
my
up.
God, you gonna make me nervous.
We're about
The
to go.
nerves feel almost exactly the same like the first time I walked out there.
We're about to do it.
I'm wide awake, yeah, I was in the dark. I was falling hard with an open heart. I'm wide awake, how could I read the stars so wrong?
Oh my God.
I'm wide awake, and now it's clear to me that everything you see ain't always what it seems. I'm wide awake, yeah, I was dreaming for so long. Falling from cloud nine, I'm crashing from the high. I'm let
So nervous.
go tonight. Yeah, I'm falling from cloud nine. God knows that I tried seeing the bright side. I'm not blind anymore. All right.
Rayvon.
Tyler, I swear it never changes. It's like I get so the nerves come right back. The nerves come right back.
Every time, no matter, I feel like probably no matter how many times you see that over and over, it's probably.
Right. It's like I already know what's gonna happen, but then I'm like, especially for the big note at the end, I'm like, come on, do it, do it, do
Hey, look, I
it.
was sitting here like I can't end this. I can't prematurely end this. Like I was like I
Exactly.
finish. So
That was funny. I would love to actually see the full version. You can't tell because the cut is so clean in it, but they actually made it a little bit shorter. And that was, by the way, a decent length of an audition for, especially for TV. I learned how valuable your, TV time is. Um, so they actually gave me good TV time right at the beginning, and my audition went viral. But I would love to see the footage of the whole audition, right? The raw footage.
absolutely. So for you, what has been like, you've been so open on like your social media about your identity, and just your journey overall. Like, how did creativity play a role in just like the healing process and just like making you the person that you are today?
Thank you for asking that question. It it's been everything to the process. Actually, Idol was a huge factor into me accepting myself and learning about myself because listen, when you put yourself out there in front of millions of people, hey, you are who you are, and it's very confronting. All your flaws, all your strengths, your weaknesses, everything is like right there in your face, and everybody else is kind of, especially on a show like that, because of the model of it. Judges like kind of judging you and advising you and stuff. So I think America felt like they could judge you too a little bit, But but basically, it was easy to, I won't say easy, but it was less in your face to kind of hide when I was only singing for, say dozens of people here or there. But now all of a sudden I had a bigger reach. That was like, I can't mislead these people. A good friend of mine also, a lot of interesting things kind of happened in that time of my life. A friend of mine passed away as well. And I always say he never got to like, they never got to live his full like identity, his full truth, his explore. He has so much to give, so much creativity, so much to offer to the world. And for us being that young and realizing how fragile life can be, I was like, oh shoot, like if he can go in a blink, what happens if something happened to me? What will people see me as and remember me as? And it was a hard realization. Like I want them to know me as who I really am. And when I tell you that, it made my songwriting better, it made my artistry better, my creativity. better. I was so much more free and open, and that's when I dropped "Can't Fight It," and that was my first single after Idol that like went viral, and of course I had to do it in a little dramatic way. The music video, wait to the end to kiss the boy, Uh, but yeah, no, that it's everything to playing in the role into my artistry, and also music and the power of music. Compelling me to be it's such a vulnerable thing when you sing, it's like kind of vulnerable in a way. It's like kind of intimate. And so I wanted people to know the source and like what I was singing about, and who I was singing about, or at least a few. There was a few guys in there,
Ab-
like
Absolutely, and my condolences as well. And then I know the whole Idol community just recently lost executive producer, right? So my
Mhm.
condolences. I want to be really authentic and make sure that I send my love to the whole family, you and everybody
Thank you.
by that
Thank
producer.
you. I appreciate that. That's been very heartbreaking. Like so sad, these past few days that I've been dealing with that and being reached out. And we've been kind of loving on each other because I work very closely with Robin K. So it's such a senseless tragedy, honestly. It's very sad, her and her husband. Thank you for mentioning that as well. I hope people will remember, the impact that she had on my life and my artistry, and other contestants as well.
Absolutely. And for you as well, what is like your creativity process? Like, how do you know when like a song is ready to be released? And, what does that process look like for Rayvon?
It could look a little different for different songs. I I'm pretty like I'm pretty much like let a song cook, sometimes a little too long. Need to get these songs out of hard drive jail, you know what I mean? Um I but I get into the studio. Usually it's like I always like to say, I always like to give credit, and I don't know if you believe in God, universe, whatever, the source, spirit, whatever, but sometimes as a songwriter, I feel like an interpreter. It's almost like I can hear the song as, you know what I mean? It's like I'm making it up, but I'm not at the same time. It's almost like sometimes I can hear melodies, or I can just, and it's fast. Dude, some of my best songs, I feel like I've written in like, at least the gist of it, I've written in less than an hour. You know what I mean? It comes fast, like, um, and then I'll kind of like jam it for a while, play it for some friends and stuff, and then I'll kind of sit on it. And for me, if a song keeps coming back to me, or if I can't get it out of my head, or it's almost like, or you just become obsessed with it, or you're excited about it, where I keep coming back to it, coming back to it, coming back to it. That's when I know a song is like ready to be put out. Because I'm like, okay, if and I'm judgmental of myself, so I'm like, all right, I got a lot of songs that I'm like kind of like fizzled out, but there's some that if they really stick, I'm like, okay, people gonna feel this. I say that, but also I've had friends be like, "Oh, I put this out tomorrow," a song I just wrote. But um, I'm grateful, for that gift of songwriting. And to me, it's almost like, have you seen the movie Sing, the Pixar movie Sing?
Yeah.
When he goes into his zone, like, I don't know if you remember that. He like the main character in Sing, he goes into like his creative zone. And I think he was like messing up at work, or he was zoned out per se. But when you get into that creative zone, it usually comes fast. Like, it just, I don't I don't know how to explain that. It's just like you get into like this mode, if you will. And sometimes you can stay there too. Like, if I'm in that zone, sometimes I want to write another song, maybe even three songs. So my so a huge part of my process is to take care of myself, because of and my mental health, and um and my physical health too. I feel like if I'm working at an optimal level, if I'm in a good place, in a good mental headspace, I'm more likely to get into that zone, if that makes sense. Sometimes it's not
Absolutely.
about sometimes it's not about figuring out the best melodies and which notes go best next to the other. Sometimes it's about, okay, take care of yourself and just let you cook. You know what I mean?
For sure, most definitely. Yeah, I've definitely seen sing. Now I'm about to. That's on my night list. I'm gonna pour me a
Now you about to go.
little glass
Right,
of
right.
wine, and I'm gonna watch Sing tonight. That's what I'm gonna do.
That's
Um,
a good one. That's a good one.
fresh. But I want to talk. I know we got some pictures, so I'm gonna pull up some pictures. But I want to talk more about your creativity, your vision, your fashion. We've got some pictures up there. Um,
Oh,
so and then overall, so yeah, let's talk about that. And then, overall, what message you hope listeners take away from whether they see your music, listen to your music, or see you even perform live. And we got to know how to dress like Rayvon is definitely
uh-oh.
a question as well.
Listen, you gotta take risks. You gotta be bold. I think it, it it's a visual and audio experience. I want people to not just, I want them to see it, receive it, and then feel it, and almost like connect. It helps. It's another way to another layer of creativity you can put on top of just an audio experience, right? Sure, you can enjoy a song and feel me all day, right? Without not even seeing me or what I look like. And that's actually a beautiful thing too. But then if you add on, those moments of expressing yourself through fashion, through photography, it adds another layer to your music and your vision. And for me, I think that's grown so much over the past few years, even since Idol, where I've felt more bold, and that came with me accepting myself too. That came with me like, I know, look at me behind a dang disco ball. Come on now. So I wanted, and with this photo, I wanted also to express my blackness, express my culture. Um, and this was also for the fabric of freedom, which was a theme of World Pride this year, which I had the honor of performing at World Pride in DC. But it's definitely been actually super fun to like, work on different looks and visuals and shoots to coincide with the music. I think it's definitely it adds to the experience where I want people to really feel that freedom in how I sing, how I look as well. Like see that freedom and also hear that freedom because that's where I'm coming from these days. And that's what I hope people get out of my music and out of my artistry. It's like you can be who you are, you can love who you love, you can express yourself in the way you want to, because I feel like there's so much in life telling us who we should be, who we shouldn't be, how we should walk, how we should talk. When in reality, that that ain't just how it is. Like you gotta do you. And guess what? That can change too over time, and that's okay. It's okay to learn and push and grow. So that's what I hope people, feel through not just my music, but my looks as well.
Absolutely. And look, that makes me want to step my fashion game up. So
Ah,
I'm gonna
hey,
need some
you look
points
great.
for
You
sure.
look good. You
Hey,
you
I
got
appreciate it. I
Yeah, I see your Instagram, okay?
not my Instagram. I
You're
mean,
right.
now I'm over here like, what?
Yeah, right, right. No, but it's cool too. Even if your fashion is more simple, What was it, Steve Jobs, who just wore like black every day, but he was creative as heck with his gift, which was creating technology. So, I think there's like it's kind of like uniform vibes, like kind of like your go-to. But then there's also that like elevator. And so I feel like when I hit the stage, I like I'm picking out a fit, and also I like to represent a lot of local designers, queer designers. Um, I've worked with some different designers and stylists who also collaborate with me to express kind of their ideals and stuff, and it's amazing. You would be surprised how how much you can say through just, I mean, what's it's a cliche, but a picture's worth a thousand words, right? Like that you can say a lot by just how you style yourself, how you pose, how you when and where you're shooting. So I like to have fun with that, and I feel like I step into my, my Sasha Fierce. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. For sure. So, you do modeling, music, brand collaborations. Do you ever see yourself like expanding into more like acting, directing, producing, and really like what's next for Rayvon? That's the question.
That's funny. I was talking to my agent, yes, just yesterday. Just yesterday. Uh, I I love to act. Like I said, I went to school for musical theater, high school for musical theater, and a magnet school, and that has 100% always been like in my wheelhouse. And of course, music being my primary, focus and passion, like that takes up like all my time and energy, but in a good way, rightfully so. But I definitely, again, another element to add to, your vision and what you want to express to the world. And I'm excited to show people a different side, actually, and do more television as well. I'll be featured on the season finale of the first season of a new show called Flipped Lifestyle. Um, and it's on Access TV, so y'all can check that out on Saturdays. That's airing now. So my episode will be in a couple weeks. Um, so although that is reality TV, not really acting, but it has some similarities in terms of pushing the scene, pushing the dialogue, the motive through. So definitely doing some more of that. And I will be more than likely headed back to LA. I've been back and forth between DC and LA. I'll probably be relocating back to LA after I finish up my duties here in DC, um, in the Navy, and I will be um, doing some more acting 100%.
For sure. Y'all heard it here. And then, all right, Rayvon, you ready for this quick game of rapid fire slash this or that?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I hope
I'm
I
gonna
don't
go,
embarrass you.
I'm gonna go easy on you. Don't embarrass me. All right,
I
first up,
got you.
The Idol audition song that you almost chose but didn't.
Ooh. As around the sun, the earth knows she's revolving, and the rosebuds know to bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love to cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always. I did think about doing that one.
Hey, look, I didn't even have to ask. Sometimes we get guests on, and sometimes I throw in, and I'll be like, "Hey, not to put you on the spot, but
Yeah,
like
right, right.
a little bit." But hey, you
I'm
already.
sorry. I'm sorry. I had to just do a little bit for you.
Hey, I appreciate that. What has been your most surreal moment post Idol?
Wow. I've had quite a few. I've had quite a few surreal moments. Do. Even though it didn't work out and we're still friends, getting proposed to on stage at Demi Lovato's concert, orchestrated by Demi Lovato, was pretty epic. I mean, that was like one of the most surreal things ever. And also to be in front of on stage of an audience of that many people screaming for you and excited was like also a surreal feeling and just a taste of what's coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And going to her wedding, by the way, which I
Right.
went
I
to
saw
a
the
couple.
pictures. I saw the
That was
pictures.
also surreal, not just because I mean, obviously we all love her and she's amazing, but it was just one of the most beautiful things I ever experienced. And I'm like, oh, love is real.
Love is real. Just let me know where it's at, okay?
Yeah, nah. So I'm in a nice loving relationship now, my partner Ezra. So don't get mad. I know but I gotta figure out a way how to outdo that dang engagement that I had, some years ago. That was pretty surreal.
That is definitely something that you're gonna have to figure out. But you got this for
Yeah,
sure.
we got. I'm gonna need your brainstorm.
I got you, friend.
Hey, tell your people to put some ideas in the comments.
Right, yeah. If y'all want to comment some ideas for
All right.
Rayvon, we'll make sure that he gets some. So if you had to choose faith or fate,
Oh my God. I want to say fate. I'm, mm, I'm I'm not supposed to give you a one answer or the other, but I'm saying like I feel like also faith can affect your fate, right?
yeah, it does go hand in hand. I
Your
agree.
fate is your fate, but if you really put some energy into something, you can at least increase odds of your fate wherever you want to end up. You know what I mean? Like whatever your goals are. Um, if you got strong faith, you can definitely increase your faith. But I'm leaning more towards faith. I'm gonna go with faith.
Yeah, most definitely. If you had to pick a love song or a heartbreak anthem,
Heartbreak Anthem.
every time.
I love me a good love song, but have you heard half of my catalog? I'm always talking about some struggle, but I'm gonna go with a Heartbreak Anthem. Do
I
it. My song "Do It Again" is like one of my heartbreakiest heartbreak anthems.
Hey, look, I'm a Cancer, and Cancers are extremely
Me
emotional.
too.
See,
We
and
sensitive.
Alicia Keys, "Try Sleeping with a Broken Heart," or Liana
Woo.
Lewis, "Bleeding Love."
Oh
These
my
movies
God, you can't beat it. You
never
can't
fail.
beat it.
And lastly, a dream venue that you love to headline.
Wow, a dream venue that I would love to headline. Um, After seeing The Weekend at SoFi Stadium, I know that's big dreams and big goals, but damn, how cool would that be to headline or even co-headline SoFi Stadium, be a part of a bill on SoFi? That venue is so dope. The energy, LA, I love I got a big space in my heart for LA. And there's been some amazing things. And I also say that too because I got the opportunity to perform the national anthem for the Chargers, for the Los Angeles Chargers. And feeling that energy in that room with like 50,000 people, I was like, oh, I want to do a concert here. Like there was nothing like it.
Absolutely. Hey, speaking it into existence, Rayvon Owen, thank you so much for giving us a portion of your evening tonight. Wishing you nothing but success. Hopefully, we'll have you back on the show and we can definitely share all the projects and everything that you got forthcoming.
I would
Before
love
we
to.
go ahead and let everybody know where to follow you on social media.
Listen, y'all can check me out pretty much everywhere. It's at Rayvon Owen, Rayvon. Oh, you got it on the screen. There we go. So my latest song, Enough, is out, and I'm gonna give you a little exclusive, okay? The next song is called Fragile, and it's coming your way very soon. So make sure y'all
Hey,
stay locked.
y'all here to hear first. I thank you so much again, and I'll be talking to you soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Ty. Appreciate you. Thanks, everybody. Peace.
All right, so that was Rayvon Owen. Be sure to stay tuned for his upcoming music projects, and you can check him out on all music streaming platforms. We're gonna keep the party going with our next guest. Give me just a moment to get my little banners together, and we're gonna bring our next guest on the show. What's going on, Sonny?
Hello, hello.
How
It
are
took me a
you?
minute to learn how to work a phone again. I'm aging.
Hey, it's all good. Well, welcome back. For those of you that don't know, Sonny's been on the show before, but he is just a little bit of everything, a rapper, a poet, a filmmaker, and I'm super excited to just dive right in and introduce you once again to our audience for those that may have not seen the last episode, as well as even talking about your upcoming release, your debut EP.
Yes.
So let's just go ahead and dive right in. Give me just a second. I'm gonna just throw up this banner. Look, it's hard playing host, producer, and
Hey,
editor.
oh, believe me, I know. Just like just now when you were like, he's a little bit of everything. In my head, I thought a little bit of too much, honestly. I'm trying to really rein it in now and be more selective.
Hey, look, it's a juggling act, but I'm here for it. All parts of it.
You gotta do
Um,
what you gotta do.
we're gonna talk a little bit about Godspeed, and I know, like, the overall theme of like movement, urgency, and blessing. What does it mean to you in the context of this project? I know we're gonna show the graphic and the track list as well, but like, let's just tell us about this project.
Sure. So the name Godspeed came, it actually started off as an album. I was learning in real time that I was obsessed with time. So I was like, oh, we got to do something about this. Because in my head, I'm like, there's so many expectations for 20-year-olds. And we're always like, oh, I should be here by this time. I should be doing this at this age. And it never works out that way. Maybe like one in a billion, but it wasn't for me. And I'm okay with that now. And so Godspeed was just kind of like my journey of saying, listen, let's get started. Let's have a timestamp right now in time. You don't have to be perfect. Just put it out. Put some work into it. Put some blood, sweat, tears into it. But like, get it out, and then that's the start of your journey. So I'm wishing myself Godspeed on the journey that I'm going on by creating or chasing my creative endeavors, and I'm also wishing everybody Godspeed who like comes on that journey with me, because I'm gonna do my best to like document it as much as possible. So, whenever I blow up, people can't say, "Oh, he an industry plant."
Hey, they already know because they knew who you were way before you blew up.
Okay, I put in the work.
Hey, all that matters. So I want to go ahead and show, actually, this is the graphic, correct?
Yes, that's the cover art.
Okay, I see you out here. I see you. So, like, what was the just the vision and the imagery tying into what you just has shared with us?
So something really interesting happened right here. I same day came up with a different cover art. I took pictures and everything. I was working on some behind the scenes footage for that because again, trying to record and document all of this. And I had a whole different cover art. And then I got into Chat GPT and I was like, this is my vision. This is what I currently have. And then it came up with this. And I didn't think that I was going to use AI for my cover art at all. I wouldn't have went out and did a whole photo shoot if I thought that. But then I was like, wait a minute, it kind of works because it's marrying the three time frames. And so again, I had this obsession with time. So the past would be the Renaissance period when all of the artists were becoming awakened and everybody was into art and poetry and music and sculpture and all those other things. And that holds more significance than just like that era. But obviously, Beyonce had a huge influence. When she said, "You are the Renaissance" during her last concert, I was like, I hear you loud and clear. You want us to wake up and create art. I got you. I need to stop playing with myself and get into it. But then there's also the modern effect, which is just the music is modern, but also I'm like kind of running forward towards the future as well. And the future is the AI. The music is modern, the future is AI, the past is the art that inspired all of this in the first place. And I love that all three of them kind of came together on one piece of art for me. And so I'm running inside of that cover art because in the album, I'm kind of like starting a journey again at the beginning where like I realized like my life doesn't work the way it's going. And then at the end of it, I have a song, it's called Miles Per Hour. It's actually a single. And I say I stay running. And so the run is continuous. I'm running towards my goals now. So that's why I'm running, but also I'm turning into stone on that cover art because until I learn to stop running and face the things that I need to face, I may be stuck in place. It's gonna feel like a rat race. See how I was just rhyming right there? That wasn't intentional, by the way.
I don't know. I think you might have planned that a little bit.
She be freestyling.
Hey, go ahead. So I definitely will also share the track list as well. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Boom. There we go. So let's talk a little bit more about the track list. I know you mentioned miles, you mentioned mph, miles per hour.
Hmm.
Um, but like the song past tense, kind of like to me sounds like letting go. Is there like a version of yourself that you've kind of left in the past or kind of worked through to get to where you are currently in your life?
Absolutely. There are so many versions of me that had to die out in order for me to actually get to where I am now. And the version of me who created this isn't even the version of me that's talking to you right now. Which is it's kind of as an artist, it's such an interesting thing because you work on this project and it's again a timestamp of where you were at this moment in life, and you escalate through that and you work through all of those emotions and personalities, etc., at that one time, and then you move on to something else. um but past tense has to do with me I used to be such a people pleaser, and it made me so anxious as a human being. So I had to like leave other people behind, and I had to leave that version of myself behind that needed outside approval and validation in order for me to like be happy. He died.
Mm, mm. Okay. Okay. So kind of just segueing myself right into this next question. Worthwhile. Like, was there ever a moment in your journey where you like questioned if, the path as an artist, an author, a healer, like if it was actually even like worthwhile? Did you ever like second guess that at all?
Is water wet?
Is the sky blue? Okay.
Oh my goodness. Many times, yes. So again, that whole nonsense idea of like I should have been doing this by a certain age is it's still present in my life, to be honest with you. And I'm still struggling with it. And so I took my time and made this EP sound the way that I needed to sound. And I was like, I'll just be honest with you. Um, I turned 28 next month, and I was like, "You're not gonna turn 28 before you put out music. That's not gonna happen for you." So I say all that to say it still took me like I thought I was gonna release it in like March, and then April, and then May and June. Now we're in July, and it's being released at the end of July, and that's fine because I took my time with it and made sure it sounded quality in the way that I wanted it to sound. But in an ideal world, I would have put music out years ago, like at least a decade ago. I used to do this at since I was 12 years old, honestly. I would go around writing songs and singing them with my cousins and brother, and we would make our little groups and stuff that never worked out. But it's always been something I wanted to pursue, and I had voices in my head from other people's expectations, kind of like Rayvon was saying, about who you are supposed to be in this world. And I was good at other things. I was really good at other things, and it was like, you should just focus on that. And I guess I did in a way, but this is always the thing that comes back to me. And so before I continue going on with the rest of my life, I need to actually pursue this and see whether or not it holds merit for me. And honestly, pursuing it feels like I'm answering to a calling that's been calling me forever.
Absolutely. And for you, like, just I'm gonna be flat out honest with you. Like, as a Black creative, as an artist, as an author, as a poet, like as a music artist, as a filmmaker, I feel like I could just keep on with the titles. Like, how do you show up? And I feel like we talked about this before during our first interview, but like, how do you show up as your authentic, genuine, like self, and just really be able to be vulnerable and connect with your audience and your listeners or people that see your work?
I will say something very interesting is that my identity as an artist online anyway goes as Sonny the Poet. But I didn't want to ever I don't like to put limitations on myself like that. So, however, for the time being, I do like that poetry is the foundation because poetry for me made it easiest to speak my truth and to be vulnerable and to be open and honest. And it was, I guess, safe for me because poetry is still what I call coded language. Like you have to decipher between metaphors and similes, like what I'm actually getting at right there. But I'm also being very honest about it without actually saying that thing. And so I play with that a little bit inside of my poetry, but I also realized that I have a poem called Everything is Poetic. So every film that I make is poetic, every song that I do, every business venture, etc. Like they're all poetic in some way. So it's easy for me to be honest and integrity is a big thing for me too, to stay true to like what I'm actually experiencing and feeling because I don't want to people can tell when you're inauthentic, but taking people out of the equation and just me like fulfilling what I need and want from my life I would feel unfulfilled if I did something that is not authentic to me, and that defeats the purpose of creation to me.
Sunny dropping gems. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. It's always a good conversation. And all right, so if you had to pick one, do you feel more like a messenger, a vessel, or an observer when it comes to your creative process? If you had to pick only one, because I feel like you're probably a mix of all of those.
I really believe that way, but I guess if I had to pick one, I think that it would be that's so hard. I guess a vessel though, because Rayvon was just saying something that I can resonate with about songwriting. I literally like was just taking a nap like earlier today, and I woke up, and as I was waking up, because I take my time waking up now, because I'm trying to like start dream journaling and receive those downloads in a different way. But as I was waking up, I was like, I hear a melody. And so I immediately grabbed my phone and recorded that melody. I didn't think of it wasn't something that I consciously thought about. It felt like a download. And so I do feel like a lot of my writings, a lot of my songs do that. They come from my subconscious when I'm not actively like thinking about any and everything that's going on and all the things that I need to do.
I don't know how you do it. I feel like you're constantly producing content and creating. I just was like lost my train of thought just thinking about what you got going on. So
It's a lot.
you for sure. Um, was there ever a moment when you felt like you had to choose between, being an artist or being a healer, or to you is it equal playing fields, like one and the same?
It's definitely equal playing fields to me because the way I pursue my art is therapy for myself. And that's a little hint actually. Um we'll get back to that later, but my art is my therapy for myself. It's the way that I cure myself and get out of my own way. And so that's literally my last poetry book is called Songs from the Summer. And that was released last summer. This summer, the actual songs in question are the ones that are on God's feet. Um, but they all healed me in a certain way. And so once I heal myself, I'm like, I can't be stingy with this. Somebody might need to hear this. This might help somebody else heal in some way too.
Most definitely. So back to Godspeed. What was the most difficult track to write, record, um, and how did you push through that, or just push through any obstacles or challenges that you may have experienced while writing
It's a
or
very
recording?
interesting question. So two of them challenged me the most, and it was seconds and worthwhile. No, no, no. Seconds and impatient. Sorry, they gave me the most trouble. And I remember I have like actual like a behind the scenes video of me like losing it over impatient. Not I can get into like the technical, but it wasn't doing what I needed it to do when I was mixing and mastering it, which is something that I had to completely teach myself how to do because what reasons? And that's not an easy thing to do at all. But impatient was not working. It wasn't cooperating with me at all. When I originally recorded all the vocals, I think it was January, and then I went back and listened to them over and over and over again and was like, let me take this part of this one and add it to like the main one and all of that good jazz. But when I did that for impatient and went back to it in like March, I was like, I don't like this. This doesn't sound like I believe what I'm saying. And I do. I know that I do. So I had to re-record those vocals and that took a lot out of me. But the hardest one to write was seconds because the beat of it is so I call it my trade song. You'll see like a lot of my personality is kind of like manifest inside of this EP. That one is the most like I'm trade. Like I'm a man for real. And so the flow on it, the way I approach that beat is completely different from any of the rest of them. So it was hard to write for that one because the beat is, I think it's faster than what I ever rapped over.
Hey, we're gonna have to wait and see. I was gonna say I can't. Rayvon gave it to us. I can't put you on the spot because until the release, you're keeping it locked.
Yeah,
You're
I'm being
insane.
a little stingy.
Hey, the release day, okay? 7/25.
It's next week, 1 week.
We just got to be patient. Patience.
Yes.
So for you, aside from, I know you've been doing a lot of book events and promoting obviously Godspeed. What's next for you? I'm talking about Sonnie overall, like the artist, the author, the healer, and so on, and whatever other titles we want to add. What's this next chapter aside from promoting Godspeed and obviously your book?
I had a feeling you were going to ask that. So that's why I was like, wait, I'm saying too much right now because I feel like this question is going to come back around. So there is, I have an idea of a short film for Godspeed. And not only will it pretty much sum up the message behind Godspeed in a short film, it's also going to prelude the next project, the next EP, which is already the demos for it are already done. Um, because like when you're in a moment of flow, I personally I submit to that. And I get everything out that needs to come out at that one time. Sometimes it's 225 poems at once and only 100 are released. Sometimes it's like 6 songs or 5 songs in one session or 3 songs. But when I'm in that flow state, I really like I capitalize on that. Um so that's gonna come honestly, I think at the end of summer as we're transitioning to fall. But realistically, it may come more like in the fall, going into winter, and I'm okay with that. But I'm also moving to New Orleans soon too. So my biggest next steps, I think, would be me finding and creating my team because I cannot continue to be all of these roles that I'm being. It's not working for me anymore. As I'm expanding, I need more hands inside of this pot.
Absolutely, and congratulations on the move. I know you're in the process of packing and doing everything now, so
Yes.
congrats on that and
Thank you.
that journey, and looking forward to what's next. So we're gonna play a quick game of rapid fire slash this or that, and then I also want to get to the comments as well. So shout out to my dad who's checking in. He said, "Get it, son." You made a comment earlier, and he was responding back to something that you said, and he said, "Nice." And then Christian Lewis is in the chat as well, showing love. Rayvon as well. So, Sonny, are you ready? Is the question, because I feel like I'm always putting people on the spot.
You know what? Ready is a decision, so I choose to be ready. Yes, let's go.
Hey, let's get into it. Um, all right. So, the most underrated track on Godspeed.
Hmm. Well, no one's heard it yet, but to me, I think the one that I would think is the most underrated personally is "Too Late," which is kind of why I put it first too.
Okay, too late. Past, future, or current, if you had to pick one.
Future. I need to
Okay.
know what's gonna happen.
Okay. I'm gonna ask the same. Performing live or writing it in solitude.
Oh, definitely performing live.
Okay. So like
Mhm.
we're just gonna speak it into existence. Once you're moved and settled in, we're gonna do like a little pop-up tour, like
That's the
with
plan, yeah, and so that's actually
music.
that's part of the next step. So the whole I guess thing of me doing my book events was kind of like me preparing myself for the moment because I just did one last night actually, and the attendance was lower than the rest of them. But I don't let stuff like that really fully bother me because I still was like, okay, maybe this is a more intimate time with the people that I get to connect with, and so the idea was to like get more comfortable being in front of people so I can transition. Well, I'll still be doing book events, but also like be in front of them with my music. Definitely manifesting though, because I have not been in front of anybody with my music yet. I've been kind of us Leos like to pretend like we're shy, even though we love attention.
Leo season, right? It's like, is it a couple days till Leo season?
Like a week or so, yeah.
Isn't Cancer season is coming to an end, unfortunately. I asked Rayvon this earlier. If you had to pick faith or fate.
I would pick faith because I think fate is just kind of like it's one of those things that just put you in a box. Like this is what you were meant to be, and I have a very rebellious spirit, apparently.
Rebellious, okay. Patience or passion, if you had to pick one.
Passion. I'm the least patient person I know. And I say that, but it's also not the truth. I'm the most patient person I know. I just am very good at like not showing it. I'll just move on to something else until because I do need whatever that is.
Okay. Hey, look. And then lastly, 3 words to describe Godspeed.
Fun, unexpected, and layered.
Okay. All right. I like that. That's a good answer. All right, Sonny, go ahead and let everybody know where to follow you. We're going to put it up on the screen as well. And
Yes,
of
so
course, Godspeed is available on all musical streaming platforms on this coming next
next
Friday.
Friday. Next Friday. Yes, yes. So I'm on all social media platforms at Sonny the Poet. It's SONNIE. It's my last name without one letter on there. So that's me. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me, Ty.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk soon. This has been Ty State Today Live. We out.
Bye.